Alright guys, and welcome back to another DB Legends video. For this Legends video, we're talking about reveals and stuff, Legends Festival Edition. We have the reveals and stuff video for Legends Festival 2022. And boy, the community is not happy. I'm gonna be honest, I can't tell you the last time I've genuinely seen a full-on community response that was mostly positive. It was probably last Legends Festival, to be honest. That was probably the last time where things were in the community, from the community perspective. Maybe a little bit after that, maybe February, March. But yeah, it's probably the last time. So let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about Legends Festival 2022 edition, obviously, and how you guys are feeling about the game in general. So let me just say my stance on this, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what the community is saying in one simple tweet. It's very easy to do so. Anyways, my stance is that if I'm being honest, I'm past the point at really even being mad at anything anymore. Like, I think there are things that are dumb. Like, for example, introducing a second Z coin. So that's just stupid to me. I think that Toshi did say, I'll have to go back and listen to it again. I think Toshi did say that you would still get the first Z medal, but introducing a Z medal too is stupid to me. Also because, like, for one, we already have too many things in the shop anyway to exchange for. There's too many different currencies. I don't know where it is. But I will say, on the surface, that I am actually excited about that to a degree, because they are allowing for us to have access to the characters you can, oh, here it is. They're allowing for us to get, with this, I believe, you can actually exchange for several things that are very valuable, like the skip ticket for co-op, which is a thing, rocket boosters, but also this. I'm excited about this. I think this is really cool. How many times in my videos do I say, wow, that alt color looks really, really cool on that character? And, you know, even if you're versus somebody, say you had Beast, they had Beast, you wouldn't see the alt color on your character. You would only see it on their character. So you can actually use this to equip customizations to other characters, different color palettes. I assume it would only be the natural other one that they have. Like, they probably won't have a white Beast Gohan outfit. If they do, I'm getting that frame one. But I think that some of the stuff that they do is stupid, but I'm past the point of really being upset at anything. To be honest, I don't really know what my expectations are even at this point. I also have, for the last several years, this is part of the reason why I stopped being heavy competitive in PvP, because if you're going to make the shift to being more casual, it hits from all fronts. I don't really play off camera as much anymore, unless I'm doing, like, you know, co-op missions or my dailies. I don't really play if I'm not recording. So for me, the bar is so low that I can't really be disappointed anymore. Like, I think some stuff is stupid, but I'm not really mad at anything personally. So with that being my stance and the context from my perspective, let me show you what some of the other players are saying. And I really only got to show you this one. My man, I still don't know how to pronounce your name. I don't know if it's Zeed, and I got killed for that, or if it's Zaid, or if it's something else entirely. I've been talking to you for years. I don't know how to pronounce it. I remember when you used to be on Dokkan Reddit without a picture, and nobody knew who you were. I remember you, but I still don't know how to say it, because that name stands out. Anyways, he says, that was so bad. Bunch of recycled events with nothing added. Hoi Poi update seems nice. Okay, so I'm going to just hit these as they go. Hoi Poi, you know the funny thing? Here's the funny thing with Hoi Poi. So Hoi Poi started off as, oh my god, this amazing thing. Was it introduced last Legends Festival? Somewhere around there, right? When it first came out. Oh, this amazing thing, more currency, blah, blah, blah. And then it slowly gets trickled down. They stop giving you some of the same currency. They make it harder to get. What was it? At the last time I was here, it was like Legends Festival Z Power, or Legends, not Festival. Legends Limited Z Power. They started making it harder to get, and then it has, like, it was here always, all of a sudden, and now it hasn't been here for a while. So it's almost like a fallacy where it's like, it's been gone for so long, I'm excited it's back type deal. I mean, I'm sure it'll be nice to have it, and they've made some changes to it, but I don't expect any, like I said, I don't have very high expectations for anything anymore. Zenkai 2, or Z Metal 2 is a joke. Yeah, it's really dumb. To me, that's really dumb. We'll have to see what the exchange rates are, but that's just stupid. Unless they implement some way to convert on a 1-to-1, unless the exchange rates are very different, like for what you would get in their shop. But I want to have a 1-to-1 exchange currency, because the regular Z Metal shop is bad. And let me tell you something. It's always been bad. It's always been garbage. All the way back to when we first realized those were a thing, when Legends was new. The Z Metal shop was garbage then. It got updated a couple times. It's still bad. Legends Festival GT17. They're never going to be able to live stuff like this down from the community. I don't really think this is criticism, like in particular, but they're never going to live down when they put out these characters people just don't care about. Look back to the 3-year anniversary with Ice and Nova. You know, they're never going to live that down. People are always going to be upset when they put out those side characters. But you got to understand from the perspective of, for one, I think 17 looks awesome. There's some attention to detail stuff with him. I think he has red key blasts. He'll be nice for androids, things like that. But you got to understand that if they're looking for an opportunity to put this character out there, or Ice or Nova for that matter, the likely scenario is to put them, the best spot to put them on is a celebration banner paired with a character like the Tag SS4s that you know people are going to summon for anyway. You can't just put this character on a side banner and expect it to do well. It won't. So that's why if you go back to anniversary for year 3, Ice and Nova were on the banner with Gogeta. And if you look at, I think their ID suggests that they should have came out a while ago. Somebody pointed that out to me recently. Whether that's true or not, directly after the anniversary, they said, oh, hey, we release Goku and Oob. It almost felt like they flip-flopped those 4 characters, because they're the exact same colors and everything. But it seems like they flip-flopped those characters for which one would be able to stand alone, have their own banner, sell better, right? And that's something you have to consider. Single banner. This is another thing that they've been doing this year. I'm going to talk about that in a second. No 3 times. I mean, I haven't seen the banner, but if it's not there, you can't be surprised about this. They literally said 3 times will not come back. They literally said that. I mean, it is what it is. They didn't say it won't be back until next Legends Festival. They said it will not be back. I can't be mad at that. The Tag Super Saiyan 4s have easily the weakest animations out of any unit, and then there's a ton of responses. And this is only one tweet. I've seen so many tweets of people like trending. Actually, it's not showing right here, but actual Legends Festival trends of nothing but criticism, okay? So the community is not happy about this, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I'll show you guys kind of what I said as well to Endakuba in a tweet here in just a second. So my thing about the banners is this is something they've been doing all year, and I think they hit a point where they said, you know what, we can just kind of space out our content. This is the downside to them running these really long events. Legends Festival has been rumored or leaked to be actually, I don't even know if it's a rumor or leak anymore. I think it's an official thing. I have to go back and double check. The point is, Legends Festival should be going from now until January period. That's no different than last year, basically, or prior Legends Festival. However, I'm not so sure that Black Friday was a part of Legends Festival beforehand. It might have been just a prelude, but they've extended it all the way from, you know, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all the way through after New Year's and everything like that. So inevitably, they're going to space out content, and that's kind of how things are going, right? Also, all the while, another undertone for this is that they did also just put out that really big update, by the way, featuring the co-op revamp and several other things. That was part of this, right? It's not, so like, it's not all bad, right? But also at the same time, the Beast Gohan banner is also still live. So I'm assuming that people will, after seeing this banner and seeing what it is, say, hey, we're going to go to the Beast Gohan banner and summon over there, especially if the step-ups are still available on that banner. But nonetheless, this has been an issue. People are not liking this. But for me, again, from my perspective, I can't be too outraged about this, because at the same time, a couple of other things happen. You get more characters like 17, like I said, Ice and Nova, characters you don't really care about that are padding out the banners. That's kind of another thing that kind of winds up happening here, that people refuse to acknowledge when they say, hey, we need more characters, which I do think that on a meta level, you need more characters flowing through the game, because the game's meta can't evolve if you're putting out, you know, a couple Zenkais and like 3 or 4 summonable characters. It can't evolve, right? And the free characters aren't going to change the meta. So on that level, I do think that we need more. However, like, there are issues with getting more banners. There are issues tied to that. You could play devil's advocate for this. I'm not saying I like it either way but for me personally, I don't really mind this a ton, but this for sure is something that's turned people off, because what it is it gives the the thought process that this is really just let the monthly LF celebration, or monthly LF wrapped into a celebration, excuse me, if you notice, they've been doing this for a while, and we said the exact same thing during the anniversary with that Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku banner. This is just a monthly LF banner because we get hard wired to look at these banners and judge them versus the banners we typically get, and there's no incentive there. And I've said in the past in videos that one way Legends really shot themselves in the foot. This was a good change. However, for expectation for the future, it really made them have to backtrack, and they shot themselves in the foot with this, was making sure that almost every banner, especially all the premium ones, are coming out with, what is it? Is it the double Z power, double rates? That, because they don't plan on doing 3 times again, that is a double-edged sword because it's great on those banners it's available on. It's not on some banners still, but it's great on the banners it's available on. However, it means that these other banners that are supposed to have something like that, if you're not going to go a step beyond that, are devalued in the eyes of the player base. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how things are right now for the community. And if we go back to the Legends Festival post here, I do think that, like I said, there are things in here that I'm excited about. A lot of criticism also is coming towards Goku and Vegeta. I think that he mentioned right here, yeah, they have the weakest animations. When I looked at them, I didn't really see anything flashy. I didn't see anything particularly flashy. We'll watch it here live again. I didn't see anything I thought was flashy, though.
Well done. You made it. You made it. It's over.
Okay.
These times are dark enough.
Was all of that just a cover change or something? Yeah. I mean, pretty basic animations. That's an AoE green, by the way, but again, nothing fancy with that. I do like Vegeta popping in and charging.
Let's do this, Vegeta. I knew we could do it. Was there ever any doubt?
So I'm not sure you were able to hear me, but yeah, there's nothing really too, like, I like the windscreen here. That looks really dope. Really, really, really dope. And I like the them coming up and doing their attacks. I like this stuff, but I don't think there's anything in here that's like crazy flashy. And you know, the thing is, if Festival is okay, I'm gonna say it here, I'll probably cover it in a separate video. Festival is being talked about again, or being rumored again. I have to do some digging as of this morning to still have part 2 be Goku and Vegeta, or Goku and Frieza, right? Tournament of power based content, and that would also mean that if they're following the same trend as Anniversary, that part 3 or the end portion of it would also include an Ultra. So we are in a similar position as the Anniversary. Don't expect too many playable summonable characters. They did mention, and this is another thing I like, Zaha and Saiyan and Red or Giblet. I am excited about them coming to the game as playable characters. They will be free characters. They are also tied to those stupid Z-Metal 2s. So if you want to red star them, you're going to need to be having those. So they're kind of not free at the same time. They will be unlocked free, but you know what I'm saying. There are going to be missions and stuff like that. So I'm excited about this. So there is some good in here. We knew about this already, granted, but if you've been following the channel anyway. But there is some good here. But yeah, I'm nothing too crazy there with the animations for them. So what I will say is, let's go ahead and transition back over to that tweet that I just responded to with Endakuba here. So Kuba said, I will say, even though there are some things I'm excited for, this Legends Festival seems extremely underwhelming. It feels quite literally like they learned nothing from the 4th anniversary. This is supposed to be the event of the year, yet once again we only have one LF unit, and the other sparking unit doesn't even match the hype of the LF unit. Yeah, it's they always rely on the hype characters to carry those characters, though. That's what I'm trying to say, and that makes sense. It's a smart thing to do. So anyways, give me just 1 second here. I had to respond to something. Okay. Doesn't even match the hype of the LF unit. Plus, it's only one banner, and no new mechanics are being added to the game for the new LF. What were they thinking? I do think that so a new mechanic would have quieted a lot of this down. I think that would have quieted this a lot down. And that's another thing too why people are upset. But also at the same time, I have myself played it up like, hey, this is the next step. This is where I think they're going, and I've been saying that for years, really. But at the same time, it's our own expectation that we're being let down by. So I would recommend not having expectation. But you know, a mechanic for Gogeta to be implemented in some degree. He could have even been in the LF. He wasn't there either. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have done something there to at least give a nod to that, but that just shows that wasn't where they were trying to go with this. They're probably going to do an Ultra Gogeta or something and just call it a day. But yeah, I think that as a new mechanic would have been interesting. And I need to see their info video that they did. Does this character have that blue, half purple card? I don't know if this character got that or not, but that was in the files and in the data mines recently. That would kind of be a new mechanic, but not to the degree like where last year, if you go back to last year, the tag mechanic being introduced was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Finally, we've been waiting for this, right? So here's what I said. He said, you know, they didn't learn anything from the anniversary. And what he was alluding to here was that people were upset at the anniversary. Now, take your mind back to the 4th anniversary. It's kind of hard for me to remember because it's been obviously like 6 months almost. But I remember the first part. I remember doing a video talking about how the first part of the anniversary was really bad, how nobody likes the first part. It wasn't really for some of the reasons that we're talking about today. Like, yeah, people were upset by the lack of characters on the banner and stuff like that people are always kind of upset about. But for me, I think it was disappointing, and people were upset about it as well because of the way that they handled it. Notice in that video reveals and stuff they said, and they did it here as well to a degree as well. They said, hey, as long as you log in, you'll get this and this and this. They did that in this video, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But every event was tied to logging in, playing every single event. You had to basically make sure that you logged on and didn't miss a day to get all the stuff. Or if you cared about these equips and things like that, you had to log in on a daily basis, complete every single thing that was available. Also, the first part was heavily monetized. The raid was ridiculous. The way they handled that raid, you couldn't even get guaranteed raid rewards if you didn't have Ultra Instinct Goku. So stuff like that is what I thought people should have been mad about in the first half. They walked it all back in the second half too. But I said, no, I think the issue is that they did learn from the anniversary. We kept saying it was wildly successful, and it was the most players since launch and more heights, etc. I'm pretty sure their revenue peaked, and if you were on the back end, if you were working on game design or development, or even just things like YouTube, you can see all the analytics. And say YouTube, you see that you're getting a lot of interaction, likes and comments and views, obviously, and also the revenue is going up. Wouldn't you keep doing the same thing? Isn't that how business works? So that's the problem, because no matter what the criticism was for the anniversary, I made sure people knew this, and people are always mad when you say this, but the anniversary was a success, caveat, from their perspective. And I always said that, and people are like, well, I don't care about their perspective. Well, you should, because it leads to stuff like this. It doesn't matter how mad you are in the moment, right? Because at the same time, it's almost like people are talking out of the sides of their mouth. It's not even about money, right? It's not even about, oh, we all need to just stop spending this and that, which, by the way, my next tweet will kind of talk about things like that in a second. But it's not even about that. It's about the fact that the interaction was so high. People were logging in. They have their most players since launch. You know how crazy that is? Launch is when your game is, in most cases, at its absolute peak. Most of those players leave instantly, but Legends had the most players throughout the anniversary. They sustained a high player base, all of that stuff, and I'd imagine the same happens. If we're being completely honest, I imagine the same thing happens here. So from their perspective, it's a success, and why wouldn't you keep doing it? And so what they did here was they emulated that exact same format. There's going to be some tweaks, and one thing that Legends has gotten all too comfortable doing is recycling all this same stuff. all the same stuff. Every celebration they say, oh hey, yeah, this is back. Don't you like freebies? Yeah, you can exchange for these characters. Oh, you guys like that we gave you LF tickets? And I'm not even complaining about this stuff. You like that we gave you LF tickets? Oh yeah, well you can get those too. There are some changes here. If you log in every day, they just recycle stuff. And this is a valid criticism as well, by the way, and stuff people are not happy about, but it's proven to work. It's the same thing as, like I said, YouTube. From my perspective, if you guys are watching a certain type of content, why wouldn't I keep making it? It's the same deal. It's the same exact deal. And like I said, people tend to try to boil that down to just money and say, oh, well, this and that. Yeah, money at the end of the day is the goal. But at the same time, if that was the only goal, there would be no space for people that don't spend any money. Those players wouldn't matter at all. You may think you don't matter, but you still contribute to the analytics, right? You still contribute to the analytics. If people, again, I'll keep equating it to YouTube, come to my videos, skip the ads or whatever, they have ad blocker on. We don't like that. Please don't do that. However, at the same time, you still gave me a view. You still maybe gave me a like, still gave me some watch time retention. You still contributed, right? My next tweet is, and that's the issue. Okay, so the most heights. I'm not saying this is a good thing for the community or it's a good thing in general, but they don't see what we see, and that's the issue. We say, oh, the game's bad. Oh, the game has this. This is a problem. They don't see it that way. They say, well, from my end, I see this, this, and this, like I just spent a couple of minutes talking about. And that's the issue, the lack of communication there and the lack of understanding from both sides. And if anything, it underscores the fact that while we can, to a degree, influence change, we really are just a small segment of the player base, and places like Twitter are just an echo chamber. I don't want to minimalize you or myself or anybody that interacts with this game online. The people that interact with this game on social platforms and stuff are probably the most dedicated players day in and day out, outside of the people that just hate on the game because they hate the game and just never cared, or things, like those trolls, right? The people that are dedicated to the game talk about the game and want to see the game succeed. That's the most important thing. And I'm not saying this to minimalize, but I really need to make sure that we understand that when you are on a platform like Twitter, and like I said in the beginning of this, every single thing you are seeing is, oh, this is bad. Oh, it's bad. And almost at this point, it becomes a popular thing to also say, oh, yeah, this is bad because X, Y, Z. Even if this person didn't even really feel that way. Like I said, I'm not even, if you notice my stance, I said in the very beginning, I kind of don't care. Like, if I'm being, I'm not going to get on here and be fake mad. I'm not going to be fake mad. I kind of don't care. Like, I don't have expectations. And that's another thing by itself. The fact you literally lowered the bar so far that you can't have expectations is an entirely different thing. But nonetheless, I'm not trying to minimalize. But the reality of the situation is there are so many players that are not a part of our Reddits or our Discords or our Twitters or even the YouTube videos, our YouTube comments, our community online. They're not a part of it, right? And these are the players, not individually, but collectively. It's all of them versus us, basically. And maybe they're not reviewing. And if they do all review, we can maybe get an uprising. We can, like I said, sometimes to a degree, influence change. It really just depends. Also, this game, don't be fooled. They do this illusion where, oh, here's a Legends dev note. Oh, you wanted us to change this or fix this. Understand that they literally changed it from the way that you liked it just to see if it would fly. And they always had the intention of, if we got a little bit of pushback, flipping it back. Because the motto in mobile gaming specifically, and gaming in general, and just a lot of things worldwide, but in mobile gaming, is to always try to push the bar. See what you can get away with. Take a little here, shave a little off the top. That is the motto. So this game, and because we're talking about Legends, does this profusely. They will say, oh, here's this, this, and this. You'll notice a tweak. They'll take this and that. We'll move it here. Don't worry, you can still get this here. They're trying to see what they can get away with. And it's not an individual. Toshi, for example, is not the fault. It's business. It's just how things are done. So don't get fooled by them saying, oh, we're fixing this for you guys because you guys wanted this and that. That was always going to be the case. That was always right there. They had at the push of a button, they could turn it back if they wanted to, right? But we can influence change to a degree. But at the end of the day, the bleak side of this is that we are just a small segment in places where you're only going to see the same stuff is literally an echo chamber. And what I'll say is, I think that we're at a point with Legends where Legends may be in maintenance mode. And I said this in this tweet here. I'm going to read this tweet and then we'll conclude. Sorry, this has been a half-hour video on freaking Thanksgiving too. Sorry about that. We're not thankful for this, Toshi. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Yeah, I don't want to say, he says that they don't try anymore. They got to that point. And I was like, I don't want to say they don't try anymore because all of this is accompanied with stuff like the co-op overhaul. It came out a week in advance, but you have that's part of this, right? That big update they did, they put a lot of time and work into that. And I mean, they put a lot of time and work into everything that they put out, like characters for the most part, unless they're reusing every animation. But work goes into it, right? I don't want to say they're not trying. But the term for this in gaming is maintenance mode. And I say not the kind that you're thinking of when the game is literally in maintenance where they're working on it. What it means is you basically do the bare minimum to achieve your goal. So, and for the record, this isn't even just a gaming thing. I've equated so many things in this video to real life. It's really easy to get in a routine. It's really easy to say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this because this is how things are typically done. It's really easy, again, back to YouTube, for me to say, hey, if you want to see this, I'll just keep doing this. It doesn't, maybe I don't have to work as hard if I do it this way or that. It's the same type of deal. It's a world thing. But it's called maintenance mode because it means you do the bare minimum. And what have they been doing? The bare minimum. They've been doing the bare minimum for a long time. And really, it's inevitable. No matter what game you think is good, they will hit this point, or they have been in this point and you're okay with it. But they get here eventually, right? They'll still put out content. They'll still do what they need to do. That doesn't mean the game is shutting down. Legends is not shutting down. No matter how mad you are, it's not shutting down. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means that they have found a model that they are going to follow. And there is nothing really wrong with that, really. But that's kind of where Legends is at, where they'll say, okay, we'll give you the bare minimum, I think. And to be fair, while Legends isn't shutting down, what that kind of signals to me is that, I've said in the past, I do think that the workload has gotten easier for them in terms of Legends, because I do think there's something else on the back burner. I do think that there's another game in development, things like that. Maybe they've moved some players from some people from teams, things like that. And maybe that contributed to why we get less characters overall on a monthly basis and just a lot of things. If you notice, like, the characters have become a lot less common. We started getting Zenkais bi-weekly, sometimes Zenkais back-to-back weeks, things like that. We're starting to see a lot more rerun banners. We see the Ultra banners come back kind of common now whenever there's a down week. You know, there's a lot of things like this that are kind of happening that are contributing. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and conclude there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The final takeaway is Legends Festival isn't all bad. There is some good in there. Also, this is only the first part. We'll have another couple of months of this, basically, for better or worse. So definitely, I think I'll, just like Anniversary, even though I said Anniversary left a bad taste in my and very many players' mouth for the first part, I will reserve final judgment until the end. And unless something breaking news comes out, we won't do a video like this until the anniversary or the festival is over. Please remind me in the comments as well, because I'll probably forget. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you haven't checked out my new channel, the link is down below in the description, where I'm doing some other content and some other games.